Hi everyone, my name is Jessie and today I'm going to be doing my informative speech on how to play tennis. So a little bit of backstory, I've been playing tennis since I was 3, so for about 15 years now. I just started playing recreationally and hitting on my garage door, and then I started playing tournaments and I just fell in love with the sport overall. I love that it's super mentally taxing. It just has like a lot of different aspects that go into one game. It's very individual, which is super different than every other sport, I feel like. And it's also a lifelong sport, so even my grandparents still play tennis now, so it's a really cool sport and I love it. So what you're gonna need, first thing you're gonna need are tennis balls. So there's two kinds of tennis balls. There are heavy duty and regular duty. So women's tennis uses regular duty and then men's tennis uses heavy duty, just because men are stronger, so they'll go through the balls faster. Rackets are different for different players, so some are better for spin, some are better for power, some are better for feel. It all depends on the kind of player that you are. Also strings, so strings are the same thing for feel or power or whatever you want, spin. And there's also string tension, so the tighter you string your rackets, the harder you have to hit it, and then the looser, the more springy it is, so the less you have to hit it. And then shoes are super important, especially for me. Tennis shoes are super supportive around your ankles. I roll my ankles all the time, so tennis shoes are super important for me in my game. And then also, you don't even need a tennis court. You can literally just play on a wall, which is super cool. So scoring, 1 point gets you to 15, 2 points gets you to 30, 3 points gets you to 40. In college tennis, we do deuce, which is no ad, which is when it's 40 all, so 3-3. You play one decider point to see who wins the game. And in juniors, you do play ads. So that's something different about college tennis that I'm still adjusting to. So you need to win 6 games to win a set. You need to win 2 sets to win a match. And if you split sets, you play a 10-point tiebreaker, or you play a full third. So you would have to play a whole nother 6 games, or you would just go to 10, depending on what kind of match you're playing. College matches are super fun. They're very different than junior matches. So there's 3 lines for doubles and 6 lines for singles. Each doubles match, you need to win 2 out of 3 doubles matches to get the doubles point, which was 1 point, and then every singles match after that is worth 1 point. So the most you can get is 4. Once you get to 4, you would technically clinch the match and win, and your team would win. So yeah, the next thing that I want to talk about is strategy. Strategy is super important in tennis, and I love tennis so much because it's so strategy based. So there's different trajectories for the ball. You can put more spin on the ball and make it go higher. You can lob it, so really send it up. You can slice, which is you use backspin, and the ball kind of spins backwards and catches the ground and stops. So it's really good if the player you're playing doesn't like movement or just can't really get low and get under the ball. Deep balls are really good, so if you're trying to send them and push them back and keep them off the baseline, because the closer you are to the net, the more angles you have and the more choices you have to make for each ball you're hitting. And my personal favorite is the flat ball. I like to just wind up and hit it, so that's what I like to do. In college, that doesn't work as well, but still trying to figure that out. Another big thing about tennis is movement. So some players are really fast and can get to the ball really well, so you need to kind of adjust your positioning based on that. Also, do they like their forehand or their backhand better? Are they a lefty? Are they a righty? These are all things that you need to keep in your mind when you're thinking about playing a point. And each point is super important because in the grand scheme of things, it gets you to the end of the match and ultimately you want to win. So each point is very important, especially the deuce points. So yes. And another thing that I love about tennis is that it's exactly like chess. I think it's so difficult because you have to make decisions lightning fast, and you have to make decisions based on where the other person is on the court, where you are on the court, the kind of ball you want to hit. So I love that it's super you have to think very in the long term. I just love that about tennis. So the next thing I want to talk about are changeovers. Changeovers seem super unimportant, but they are really important if you're talking about mind games or momentum switches. So there's 25 seconds between points, 60 seconds between games, and 90 seconds between sets. So this is where most of the coaching happens. There's no coaching in junior, so that's a big adjustment in tennis, to kind of have someone talking at you when you're trying to play, because I feel like a lot of tennis is just mind games as well, so that's definitely an adjustment for most players coming to college. But tennis is a game of momentum as well. Momentum changes all the time, and just because you win the first set doesn't mean you'll win the second set or the match. In each game there's momentum. You can win the first 2 points and then lose the next 2. So in between points and in between games is super important, to just kind of stay mentally present. The next thing I want to talk about are rituals. So in tennis, that's using your towel or going to the back fence, whatever you want to do to kind of get yourself out of that last point and get yourself ready for the next point. So whatever rituals you want to use. People also like play with their strings. Yes, and then also superstitions are very big in tennis. I have a lot of superstitions. Like one of mine is I can't sit in my changeovers because, I just feel like I'm gonna lose the next 2 games if I do that. So that's something I'm working on, but I'm definitely very superstitious. So the last thing I want to talk about is sportsmanship. Sportsmanship, in my opinion, is one of the most important things about tennis as a whole. I feel like a lot of people just get caught up in the sport and they don't like to, they just lose their morale. So that's the most important thing for me. So respecting players, respecting coaches, respecting referees, whether they make calls in your favor or not, and also respecting yourself. That's something that a lot of tennis players do, is they're constantly yelling at themselves, and I feel like that's really sad. So I'm working on that too, but we're getting there. There's also code violations, so if you are not unsportsmanlike, you can get points taken away, and then point penalties, and then line call cheating is a very big thing. So that's the end of my speech. We went over what you need to play tennis, scoring, changeovers, in between point rituals, strategies, and sportsmanship. Thank you.